Welcome to your worst nightmare. This is a crash course on dystopias. Wait, what's a dystopia, you're asking? Just think of every time you have watched Cress rant about something and he is loving life, proving people wrong, and living it up in his own utopia, where nothing can go wrong, whereas you're having to sit through the whole freaking thing having heard the rant 5 times the day before. Welcome to a dystopia. In real terms, though, a dystopia is a place of great injustice or suffering, but the people living in it are usually brainwashed into thinking that it is the best thing since sliced bread, causing them to think they are living in a utopia or place of perfection. There are usually around 4 common traits of a dystopia. Dystopias are usually run by a totalitarian state, meaning that the people have very few, if any, freedom. They are usually set in the future with better technology to control people. People are usually brainwashed by the government using propaganda. And lastly, there is usually at least one person who shows some type of rebellion. We will look at 2 characters today. Harrison Bergeron from the short story Harrison Bergeron, and John the Savage from Brave New World. We will start with Harrison Bergeron. Harrison Bergeron sees the flaws within the totalitarian state that he lives in. The citizens were having government propaganda shoved down their throats and didn't even know it. He saw the citizens who were brainwashed view everyone as equal. He sees the error in the people's ways and tries to correct it by rebelling. Obviously, in the long run, this doesn't turn out, but he gets an A for effort. Things don't go much better for John. In Brave New World, the book is set in the future in a time where the world has come together to form one world state. It is a totalitarian regime run by 10 world leaders. The state forces many people to relinquish their freedoms without knowing it by giving out soma, which makes everyone feel good. They also promote erotica to keep everyone happy and to stop anyone from making too permanent a relationship. John sees this perverse worldview and decides to do something about it. He states his case in the hospital, but no one understands his problems with the world. He is silenced and sent away to live the way he chooses, but not to influence society.
Though Harrison Bergeron did make a change, he was ultimately forgotten, whereas with John, through his reading of Shakespeare, is able to at least convince Helmholtz. And this brings us to how culture affects literature. Culture will inevitably influence a writer, whether it is because the writer is critiquing culture or if they are writing something to show us the good in culture. Writers draw from culture to make stories relatable. The culture also determines the perception of literature. The culture in Brave New World does not understand Shakespeare. Even though they seem to enjoy it, they can't comprehend the real human emotion in it. This is similar to when we read books from history and there is a custom or ritual that we find weird. It was not weird at the time, but the culture changes and so does the view of certain things. This has been a wonderful crash course